Alright, what we're going to be doing in this set of video lessons is we're going to be creating a Java program that keeps tracks of bank accounts. So first of all, let me show you what we're going to be ending up with. Okay, so this is a snapshot of the program when we're done. So you see here that we have a package called LFA Financial, English LFA the company, and Financials is the package. And within that package, which is a related set of coding, we have 4 classes. So you have the start class here. Alright, so the reason why it's called start is because this is the class where the main program is. Okay, and the main program, and after that we have a class called account. Okay, so account is a class which includes the following fields or variables, and includes the following methods or behavior associated with this class. This is a special method of behavior. It has a little C there called a constructor. And then we're going to talk about, and then we're going to create an account business class. Alright, so you notice that these two share one similar word, and that there's a reason for that. Something called inheritance, and we have one called vdate or validate. Alright, so in the end, this is what the program is going to do. Again, just to give you an idea of what we're working with here, just make my one a little bit bigger. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a few individual accounts, create new objects, we'll create a second individual account, we're going to create a business account. Alright, and then once those accounts are created, what we could do is we can make a deposit, we can make a withdrawal, and we can make a deposit into the business account, and our little computer program is going to take care of all of that. Alright, so more importantly, what we're going to be doing is so this is basically the finished product of what we're going to end up at the end of this tutorial. And when we're done the tutorial, when you guys are done with the video lessons, you'll have a working computer program in Java. And the assignment is going to ask you guys to modify that program, and of course I'll be around to help you guys out to do that, kind of give you a push in the right direction. Okay, so before we continue, let me just review very quickly some of the concepts that we'll be dealing with. We'll definitely be dealing with object-oriented programming. We're going to be talking about something called super, okay, or parent versus sub or child classes. We'll be talking about collaborating objects. We'll also be talking about assessor methods, that being set and get methods. Alright, we'll be talking about constructor methods, something we haven't talked about yet. We'll be talking about visibility of methods, fields, or variables, or and whatnot. And related to that, we'll talk about encapsulation, and we'll also talk about something called inheritance with implementation. So that's some pretty serious stuff. But don't have to worry about it. This is all going to be kind of hands-on learning. I will talk about the stuff. I'll talk about these items as they kind of come up, and you will be able to see them kind of in action, which hopefully helps you to understand it. Okay, so let's move on from here. Okay, so where we're going to start with the in the next video is we're going to start right from the very beginning. Is before we open up Eclipse and before we start programming, we need to think about the program. We need to plan it. Okay, this is a very, very simple program, and so planning, we're going to use a tool called UML, Unified Modeling Language. Sounds pretty intimidating. So what you want to do is get onto your favorite search engine, Unified Modeling Language. Okay, Unified Model, and just do a word search, and have a look at some of these links. I actually don't have one specific link I could show you, but when you're doing my tutorials, and let's say my tutorials are 10 minutes long, honestly, it should take you about 20 minutes to do it. And realistically, you could spend probably about 4 hours doing a 10-minute tutorial, because to read up on Unified Modeling Language, I mean, you could read just so much stuff into it. You could search for Unified Modeling Language tutorial, or basic, or simple, or example. Okay, and each one of these you could spend like easily half an hour just reading into it and whatnot. And this is the way this is the way you learn how to do things. You could pick up a book on it, or what have you. Or here's something neat. Go to images, okay, and you could kind of visually see what UML looks like. So search for Unified Modeling Language. All right. And now some of these are pretty complex, but you look at a few pictures of what UML is, and it might give you an idea of what it's meant to do, simply by looking at some diagrams. Okay, here's an interesting one. Okay, so this is along something that what we're gonna be doing. All right, and here's another idea when it comes to these kind of tutorials is YouTube. Okay, so YouTube, and just see what's available for UML. All right, so as you can see, like I said, for every new idea I mention in this video, don't just blow by it. Stop for a minute, and take your time, take your learning into your own hands, give it a shot. All right. So we'll be using UML to do our planning the program. And even before that, the first thing we're going to start off with is kind of a blank document. You'll see in the next video. The last thing I want to mention is very quickly here, programming and development of software. I could, this is kind of a personal thing, but I kind of divide it into two parts. The first part is using the language that you choose, using the software to develop the program, and development techniques such as procedural or object-oriented programming. The other part to programming and development is problem solving. Is to actually create an algorithm, okay, to solve a problem. So here is an algorithm. This solves a problem. It's logic. And the two of them work hand in hand. I mean, you can't, if you know everything about a language and how to use the software and how object-oriented programming works, but if you don't know how to do any problem solving or logic or figure out an algorithm, you can't do anything. The way I equate it, it's kind of like playing soccer. I mean, if you're a really good runner, but you've never seen a soccer ball in your life, you still can't play soccer, and vice versa. If you're kick ass on a soccer ball, you can all kinds of tricks and stuff, but if you can't run a full length of the field, you still can't play soccer. So the two parts of development, to be able to use the language, use the software, development techniques such as object-oriented programming, one part, and problem solving, the second part, the two go hand in hand. In this set of tutorials, I'm actually going to avoid the problem solving and algorithms as much as I can, and concentrate solely on using the language, using the software, and development techniques and whatnot, and object-oriented programming. And the problem solving, algorithms and logic part of it will come later once we have the first part figured out. So the next video lesson, we're going to start with planning this program and doing some UML. Okay, I'll see you then.